1987. But then when I started trashing mutual funds, I got on the blacklist with them.
I was going to say that'll tend to happen.
Now everything I said has come true.
Well, yeah, it looks like you did call a lot of those shots. And again, it's really just common sense if you think about it. Why put your destiny in the hands of other people? I get these calls from brokers all the time, and I'll say, when you care as much about my money as I do, then yeah, you can manage my money for me. But I've never met anyone that cares that much about my money. They just don't. They care about their money, but not necessarily mine. We're talking to Robert Kiyosaki. He is the author of the famous book. How many copies of that book have been sold now, Robert?
Well, in reported copies, 28. Pirated, probably about 50 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that 22? Does that weigh on your mind?
No.
Okay, it would mine. I don't know. Maybe you and I are different in that regard.
Well, this is the world of piracy, as you know.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you cannot put the pirates on your side, then you're not a good entrepreneur.
Yeah. Have you been able to do that?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And in what way? Particularly related to the book.
Well, because what they do with that is they buy other products from me.
Okay, all right. So you have other product lines that have taken off.
Piracy is a way of life, and there's pirates inside your company as well as outside your company.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Pirates as politicians, and there's pirates as bankers. There's more crooks in business than out of business.
How many, when you had your operating companies, how big did they get? I don't know. How many employees?
Well, I'm in the thousands of employees, but my core company is only 20.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that when I designed Rich Dad Poor Dad back in the 90s, it was designed as a licensing agreement, so people licensed from me.
All right, Robert, I've got to take a real quick break. Let me take that break, get that out of the way, then we'll have a lot of time where we can talk breakless. And I want to talk to you about your new book, Business of the 21st Century. And I've got to give my guests, Linda and Dave, a couple shots at you.
Please do. I want to talk to Linda.
Exactly. I'm sure you do. And also the phone's been ringing like crazy, so we'll let some of those people have a crack at you. Robert Kiyosaki is my guest. I'm Ron Morris. This is the American Entrepreneur Radio Show. We'll be right back after this short break. All right, we're back. Robert Kiyosaki is my guest. Robert, you wrote a book called, I didn't read it, but it's called Rich Dad's Prophecy, Why the Biggest Stock Market Crash in History is Still Coming. Is it still coming, or has it come?
Oh, you haven't seen it yet. There's nothing yet.
So you're saying that there's a bigger, what are you calling for? Again, I have not read the book.
Well, I call it a perfect storm. As you can see, May of 2010, both Dow and S&P are down 7.5%. It's the biggest, worst May since 1962. But I think the Dow, which today is around, let's say, around 10,000, it's going to hit around 3,800. It's going to wipe out my generation, the baby boomers.
All wealth.
No, I'm going to get richer.
No, I'm saying you're saying it's going to take out all the wealth of the baby boom generation, because most of the baby boomers
it's going to take out those silly enough to have a 401k.
All right. So you don't believe at all in any type. Where do you believe money? I know you say put it in your own business, but and that's.
I didn't say that. I never said that.
All right. I can swear that's what your book's about.
No.
All right. Well, what's your book about?
I'm about financial education. So I'm an entrepreneur. I also have tons of real estate. I also play the stock market, but I don't buy stocks. I buy options, and I have commodities. I have oil companies, gold companies, silver companies, and stuff like that.
So you're buying.
I'm an entrepreneur all the way through it.
All right. So you're buying puts and calls.
And leaps and straddles. Yes.
And you're also in real estate. Are you in real estate to hold? Are you in real estate in REITs? I mean, where do you?
I don't like paper assets. No, I mean the difference between I think your philosophy and my philosophy is I don't like to sell. I build and I hold and I move on.
I haven't told you my philosophy.
Well, I don't sell my businesses. So that's the reason I get a little sensitive about it, is because all of these guys who are flipping real estate, those are the guys that are getting crushed right now. And all the guys who are investing for capital gains, hoping the stock market is going to go up or shorting it, they're going to get killed also. So it's a lack of financial education that really gets people.
All right, but
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, but it's just so I'm clear, as far as real estate's concerned, you're saying buy it and hold it then, or buy it and lease it to someone else.
No, please don't put words in my mouth. I really appreciate that.
I won't. I'm trying not to.
Real estate, the reason real estate is an important asset is because there's debt. I want as much debt as I can get. And the other reason I like real estate are taxes. You see, taxes are really stimulus packages. Taxes punish 90% of the people and reward a certain group of people. So your greatest intelligence is how you use people, brain power, how you use debt, and how you use taxes. So I get I can make millions of dollars and pay no taxes, but I have to use debt and I have to understand finance to do that.
All right.
So it's so opposite of the average person out there. That was my rich dad's philosophy. So I want an infinite return on my money. So my rich dad business has probably made me $100 million, but I have no money in it. And my real estate, I make about $1 million a month income from it, which is not big money, but I have no money in it. So my whole philosophy is called the velocity of money using taxes and debt. So real estate is debt to me.
And the $1 million cash flow, is this coming from people that are leasing your real estate? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Right. I buy an apartment building. I just bought one building in
That's what I was trying to ask
Houston, one building in Dallas, which will take me a year to improve, and then we're going to increase the rents, and then we'll borrow my equity out. You see, stocks are equity and bonds are debt, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are getting crushed, which was prophecy, is that they're in equity.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that are getting there. There's no equity today; it's debt.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
I won't disagree with that. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
it.
So I buy a property and I sell it by the month.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And you know, there are a lot of people doing that. You're not alone in that. I've had a lot of people on this show following that same strategy.
I didn't say that. I said, please don't put words in my mouth.
Okay, all right.
I get very, you know.
You wrote a book with Donald Trump, Why We Want You to Be Rich. Can you tell me about that book? Is that about learning how to be financially savvy? Is that what that's all about?
Yeah, sort of. It's why, you know.
Do you
what he and I do?
Okay, so you and
it's really, the book came out. We wrote it in 2004. It was published in 2006, and it predicted this crisis and the end of the middle class. That's why. And so you only have two choices today. If you're not rich, you're going to be poor. The middle class is toast. I think you can see that coming.
I would tend to agree with you. Yes.
Yeah, so we said, why not choose to be rich? Because look, when the stock market goes down to, let's say, 3,800, there's a lot of baby boomers who will never retire.
Mm-hmm. And
you look at all the pension funds and all that. There's going to be scrambling all over the place, and the Fed will probably go next 10 years to hyperinflation, which will wipe out savings.
Yep.
So I mean, I sit there and I say I'd rather be rich, and our whole philosophy is, if you're listening to people like my poor dad, you're going to get wiped out.
So what do you prophesy? And I don't disagree with you. What do you prophesize will happen to the boomer generation? Because you're right. I mean, they are going to get crushed. I have never understood why these people have poured off. And every smart guy I've talked to on this show over the past 11 years is saying the same things that you're saying. Stay out of the markets. Don't ride your 401k down into the ground. But what do you think will happen when this? I mean, are we looking at camps akin to post World War I? I mean, what's going to happen here? I mean, seriously, there's a lot of people are going to get hit if what you say is going to take place. Dow 3,800 is the end of the game.
Yeah.
So
what they may jack it up by just printing money, which will cause an artificial.
But like you say, yeah, when you start printing money, we got a whole other set of problems.
Right.
So
it's already happening throughout. I'm a history buff, and throughout history, every time there's been economic crisis, people pick on minorities. So during World War II, they picked, and it wasn't just the Germans. The English were very anti-Semitic, and they picked on the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in Arizona. It's really a tragedy. They're picking on Mexicans,
mm-hmm.
Hispanics.
World War II, they picked on the Japanese here in the United States.
Yeah, well, that wasn't economic. We bombed the crap out of Pearl Harbor.
Right.
But anyway, and then today, and then another thing that happens, because I went to military school, what happens next is that people from the country will attack the city. And you look at what's going on in Bangkok today, is the farmers are now attacking the cities. And that happens historically. So today, what you're going to see are the people from, let's say, rural economies